Hi everybody, I am the Christian. And this is our Stardew Valley Let's Play playthrough. Play. One of these days, man, I will not pick up this thing. Oh, there's gonna be thunder, that's nice. Good humor for the spirits, that's also great. That's what I wanted. I have the 100,000. Let me get a cellar. I feel like I need a cellar. It's Wednesday. Did you bring your coat? Oh, this is harvestable. Let me grab the amaranth. Why did I have the amaranth? Was there some kind of quest associated with this? No, starfruit? No. Not sure why I have the amaranth. Oh, maybe I had some seeds left over. That's a plausible explanation. Well. Well, of course, today, of all days, 13 days for the pumpkins. We still have time. Not sure why I have the amaranth, man. I'm not sure, but I will ship it. We'll keep one. Just in case, man. Just in case. I didn't have any kind of amaranth there anyway, so yeah. I'm not sure what I wanted to say. Like I guess what I want to say is I didn't save up any amaranth, so it's good that I harvested some. The casks provided by Seller take forever. I'm not a big fan. Already a downer. Already don't liking the cellar. But you can get really great cheese and really great wine. I heard. I don't know. I feel like this is something I need to go for. Oh man, I used up all of the cheese. I mean the milk. Ah, milking the pig again. It's kind of funny how sometimes me and the other people from Team Marquez are like completely desynchronized. For example, recently Hulu has been like really eager about getting back into or not back, but actually starting to play some Factorio, and I was like, I had some crazy Factorio periods in my life where I was like, I really wanted to play with Cthulhu, but he was like, and now I'm not like, I would play Factorio, but there's just so much other stuff. So what I want to say is, there's this one of my favorite authors is called Lem, Stanisław Lem. It's a Polish author, science fiction author, one of the smartest people in the world at this time, I would say. Very underrated as well. Like for people who know him, like they understand, they're like on it. But there's like, when people talk about famous science fiction writers, they talk about Arthur C. Clarke and Asimov and those people, but they never mention Lem, and I think he absolutely belongs as one of the really most tremendous people in science fiction. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is there is one of the first stories I read from them, and one of my favorite stories too, is about a guy caught in like a time loop, and he has to repair his spaceship. So he has to repair his spaceship, but he needs 2 people to repair his spaceship because there's like a nut and a screw somebody has to hold the wrench to fasten the nut so he can screw in the screw. It's like a very, very banal problem. And so he needs 2 people to do this, and he cannot repair his spaceship. So he's caught in the spaceship, and then the spaceship drifts. That's why the time loop. The spaceship drifts in some kind of time funnel, and he doesn't know what it is at first. But then what happens? Like he's very depressed, and he's like very grumpy, in a very Polish kind of type of story. And then he gets like into this time loop, and then he basically encounters himself, a copy of himself, and it's hilarious because it's really well thought out. Like the copies of himself that he encounters, as you read the story, he then becomes those copies, and so he treats all of his copies really badly. And then he later becomes that copies, and then he is the one who's being treated badly by his previous past. It's a hilarious, like philosophical, but also really funny short story about how we put the different standards to ourselves and other people, so to speak, when we interact with other. Like we see faults in other people that we actually ourselves exhibit so much worse. So for example, like, in the first time he encounters, there's like the situation where he wants to go to sleep, he's like very depressed, and then suddenly he has like this vivid dream of some guy walking up to him and waking him up and trying to convince him to repair the spaceship. But he knows that this can't be true, so he literally like punches the guy in the face eventually because he gets really annoyed, and then the guy disappears, and the guy starts cursing and disappears. And then later on he becomes the guy, and he's like, oh my gosh, it's me sleeping there, I'm gonna wake myself up, and I'm gonna convince myself to repair the ship, and everything will be peachy. So he tries waking himself up, and then he gets sucker punched by himself. And it's just it's just a comedy of similar errors. Like even when he understands like the mechanics of it, he's like never able to fully comprehend that he has to be nice to other people. That he has to kind of. I'm maybe not really putting this into words. It's kind of like difficult. It's like kind of like a story that I think you kind of have to read. Like you cannot really draw like a very clear conclusion from this. But it's kind of like a very nice. I think science fiction is the best when it speaks to like human limitations, or explores very human subjects. And I think this is like a very human thing. So exactly like me and Cthulhu, where it's like. So the author is called Lem, Stanisław Lem. Oops. He's actually the author of Solaris, which is also one of his magnum opus kind of things, and it has been made in a movie, but the movie really falls short of the greatness that the original story is about. So yeah, what I want to say is like I think science fiction is really great when it speaks to like human faults, or not really faults, but actually human subjects. Like he explores humanity, and I think this is like a great example. And I think science fiction is the worst when it's like navel gazy and tries to to please fans of the genre. I think that's the most annoying thing that science fiction does. A spell or high water by Scott Meyer or something like that. A woman has to deal with her future self who takes credit for everything she's about to do right. It's generally unsufferable. Yeah, that's also great. I think there was something that like this coming up or something. I forgot. I thought there was maybe like a movie coming up that kind of like has a similar premise. I mean, the movie Moon is also that, basically. Like a character encountering himself, and because he has like this accelerated lifespan, he encounters himself at different times in his life. Yeah. And not every science fiction has to be the same. Obviously, I also enjoy very much science fiction when it's about, scientific topics, exploring, what if concepts. That's also really, really nice. But I think, the worst is when it's like, I don't know, when it's about space battles. That's kind of like, to me, it's like, ugh. Or about, some kind of space empire, like space opera is something I really despise. Like there's some good space opera, obviously, like Asimov. I think the Foundation trilogy was really great, but that was not just space opera. That was actually about a thing, a concept that he had. And space opera, when it's just space opera, is just like insufferable. Like this is just exercise in world building that, ugh. On the other hand, I do enjoy Stellaris quite a bit, and that's really, like the best of, like a generator for space opera stories. So maybe I'm just full of crap. It's very much possible that I'm full of crap. I wouldn't put it past beneath me to be full of crap. I think it's kind of like maybe a little bit different when you're doing a video game, because a video game is, I don't know. Oh man, so many blackberries, look at this. Ooh. Okay, strawberry jelly, get rid of this, get rid of this. I'm gonna keep the pine cone. I'm gonna keep the slime. I'm gonna keep all of this. I'm not sure about the winter root. About the winter soldier. But yeah, as I get older, I feel like I'm less and less interested in any kind of like combat, battle, war kind of situations, unless it's maybe something like Game of Thrones, which Game of Thrones has so many themes and so many messages and so many, like, it's not just one thing. It's just like this combination of a lot of, it explores humanity as well in a very smart way. And so, I don't mind reading about battles there, because I feel like it serves a purpose there. Like, so there's one, for example, there's one science fiction story that I despise, and that's and a lot of people love it, and I like, well, it's called, why is it always pointing me up here? I'm not sure. A Fire Upon the Deep is the story, and it's like this hackney, like very cliched, like, galaxy and ancient civilizations and blah blah blah, and then there's this other story where it's like this very technical what if scenario, like what if people like if there was an alien whose consciousness was separated among different beings, and it's like, blah. It's like it doesn't actually say anything about humans or anything. It's just like this very technical what if scenario. And it's not even something like, you know, that is plausible, I would say. And that's what I mean with navel gazing. Like this, like this exercise in genre recombinations. Like let's repeat the genre tropes and add some of our own. I'm being a bit grumpy today, man. I should stop. I should stop being grumpy about science fiction. If people enjoy it, I'm not gonna you know, think bad about you. My girlfriend, for example, enjoys like love stories, and you know, she's aware that they're like really crappy, and I'm aware that's really crappy. But you know, she's having fun with them, so I'm not gonna make her feel bad about it for sure. On the opposite, like I'm actually trying to encourage her to enjoy it herself. I'm thinking about if I forgot something today. I don't think so. I forgot to go to Jody. I was like in, you know, autopilot mode today because I actually wanted to get the cellar. But anyway, more on science fiction next time around. See you next time, guys. Bye bye.